Okay guys, on today's video we're going to talk about how you can get actually good work and good clients in, of all places, Craigslist. And at the end of this video I'm going to show you one of my best projects that I got on Craigslist with a great client, and I'm also going to talk about the compensation. I'm going to talk about how much money I built this project for, because I think as illustrators it's important for us to talk a little bit more about what we make. It helps all of us. Okay, so
sorry to interrupt, but I find it hard to believe you can find good work on Craigslist.
okay, well, you might think that, but
I tried selling Girl Scout cookies on Craigslist, but my mom found out and I got grounded.
okay, well, with respect, that's outside the scope of our discussion today, and maybe I should say you're probably on the wrong channel. But I can tell there's a little bit of legitimate skepticism about whether or not we can find good work on Craigslist. So let us just, let's do this. Somebody give me the name of a city in the United States, a big city, and we'll go there right now and we'll do a little fishing for illustration projects. Okay, what do we got?
LA.
Okay, perfect. Los Angeles. And let me just say, if you're one of my international subscribers, I know Craigslist is all over the world. Let me know what it is like in Asia or Europe or Africa. Leave something in the comments below. Okay, so let's go over there and let's check it out right now. I'm going to just see if I can one-hand this today. Okay, so this is Craigslist, obviously, and this is Los Angeles as promised. So let us focus on the right-hand side of the page here. Jobs is one area and gigs is the other. And let us start with jobs. Art, media, design. That's what we're going to click on, and that's where we're going to search. Okay, well, look at this. Right at the top, hiring character illustrator artist. Oh, that's an illustrator right at the top. That's crazy. So I'm looking at this, and I'm a CGI illustrator. I'm a 3D illustrator. This is not really what I do, but I see the word 3D space. I would reply to this. Let's skip over this right now, but this is something that I would reply to. You never know. Okay, let's scroll down. A lot of stuff that's not related, but actually a surprising amount of pretty quality looking listings here. Okay, Web3, crypto game seeks 2D, 3D artist. Okay, well, I'm a 3D artist. Oh, and this is 3D art. Pretty cool 3D art, actually. I like this. I could do this stuff. $5,000 for character design layouts, $2,500 for environmental design, etc. Okay, so this is real work. I could do this work, and they're putting down compensation that is pretty reasonable, actually. So I'm going to respond to this, and I will show you how. I keep on my desktop a file called canned responses. I'm going to double click on that, and I have a response that I have already created. So what we're going to do here is click on the reply and show email, click on reply by email, and all I'm going to do here is to take my canned response and copy it and paste it. Okay, now let's customize it a little bit. So these guys said they were in stealth mode or something, stealth mode team. Okay, so I'm going to address this, hi, stealth mode team. So that makes it look a little less like it's just a robot, okay? So I'm addressing them with something that's in this. So I start off by saying I'm a CGI artist with 14 years experience. So they said they wanted environmental design. Okay, well, I do that. I'm going to say, let me change this. I'm in CGI environmental design with 14 years experience working with companies around the US. I'm an expert in CGI environmental design. Okay, super. You can see my work. There's my website. My rates are reasonable. I currently have an opening. Love to discuss this project. Call, text, or email anytime. Thanks, Richard. And there's my contact information below. Okay, so that's a reasonable response. And what has this taken? Maybe 2 minutes so far, not much time. One thing that's very, very important is the subject line. So Craigslist will put in the subject line on the return email automatically. We want to customize this. And the reason we want to customize it is that everybody that responds to this, unless they customize it, will have the same subject line, which means the company, when they look at these responses coming in, everybody's going to look the same. We don't want to look the same as everybody else. We want to get some attention. So let's change the subject to, I'll put in my name, and then I'm going to say CGI expert at environmental design. So we're going to stand out from everybody else. We're building our brand, we're putting our name in, and we're telling them one thing that they're looking for, environmental design, we're an expert at. Okay, so that is going to help us stand out from the other responses they get. And if you're on Craigslist, there's going to be tons of responses. Now, let's just take a quick peek at this email before we go here. Everything that's in this canned response is pretty carefully crafted. So when I say 14 years experience, that tells the person that reads this that I'm experienced. That's important. A lot of people don't put that down. I say that I work with companies around the US. The reason I say that is because I'm outside of Los Angeles, but I want them to know I work long distance and I do it a lot. Okay, so it's easy for me. Then I get right to examples of work. I have my website so they can get right over there and see my portfolio. Then I have a line here that says my rates are reasonable. People are concerned about that. Are your rates reasonable? Do you charge a lot? So I'm saying, no, I don't charge a lot. I'm reasonable. That's something that somebody that's hiring likes to hear. I also say I'm available. I have an opening in my schedule. That's something else that they want to hear. And then I put down, love to discuss this project. Clients love to work with people that are enthusiastic about doing work for them. So I'm saying, I'm enthusiastic. I'd love to talk about this. Then I'm saying I'm easy to reach. You can call me, you can text me, you can email me anytime, no restrictions. Make it easy to get in touch with me. And then I've got all my information below and a little bit of a brand there, a little bit of a logo that I created. And that is it. So that is the way that I respond to things on Craigslist, and it has been very effective, and I found some real gems, some really good projects and good clients out on Craigslist this way. And we can see just by looking at this one city, Los Angeles, that there were quite a few jobs that were listed. I saw a few more that looked like they were good quality work. Now, it's going to be competitive to get them, and you need a good portfolio and everything, but this is where you start. This is how you do it. So guys, here's the project I got, the great project from a contact on Craigslist. So the project here was to take a photograph basically and animate it. So it's a photograph of a Mont Blanc store in a mall, and what they wanted to do, what the client wanted to do, was to animate it so that the doors just pop open. It was a grand opening, so some kind of promotion to illustrate that the store was opening and they were welcoming new customers. Now, if you take a look at this photograph, it's not a great piece. It's crooked, it's got skylight burnout at the top, it's got a mall rail in front that obscures the doors. So the first thing I did was to take it into Photoshop and clean it up. After I did that, I brought it into my CGI program, and let's just go in. I'll give you a little tour of that. So here's the model that I built in CGI by taking the photograph after I edited it in Photoshop, and I cut up different pieces of it to make what we call textures. I'll move a couple of these around so it makes sense. So this top panel here is just a rectangular panel. I can move away, and it has a piece of the photograph that has the name of the store, and where we're seeing the windows, those are just pieces that are also cut out from the photograph. And I'll zoom in on something here. The hallmark of good CGI work really is achieving a high level of detail, I would say. So these columns, I could have done them very, very simply, but instead, I'll double click on one. I came in here and I actually made them look like they had a granite texture like you would see in a mall. Okay, so I'm going to do just a quick rendering so we can see what some of this column looks like. And I've even taken the time to put in some little thin grout lines, which kind of illustrate how the things are hooked together. All of this sort of detail gives the viewer, when you see the final animation, an idea of realism. Why don't we just blow in on the doors real quick? Now these doors are going to move, but let's just take a quick look at how they're built. So you can't see any glass effect here, but this big panel here is made of glass, and we'll see that in just a second. We have a chrome piece at the top, chrome piece at the bottom, and then a door handle front and back, also chrome. Just a really high quality door like you'd find in an office building or a mall. Now, let's take a look at the animation. I'm going to bring up my animation palette here, and this shows the timeline of the animation. These numbers along the top are seconds, and it stops at 2.5. That means this is a 2.5 second animation, very quick for the doors to open. This blue timeline here shows the extent of the animation, and over here it tells me that I set it up to run at 24 frames per second. Now this is called the playhead, and if I move this a little bit, watch the screen and you will see the doors just start to pop open a little. So I move it further, it opens again further, and let's just really pull it up and you can see how it's going to reveal what we've got on the inside when I actually animate this. Okay, good. So let us now take a look at the actual animation and how it turned out. So only 2.5 seconds. Let's play this guy, and I want you to watch and see what effect adds to the realism. Very simple. I'll run it one more time. Did you see that? I mean, it's a very, very simple concept, but it really is kind of magical. Just a photograph with these digital 3D doors coming out of it. Now, the thing that's really, I'll stop it, but let's go back. The thing that really gives it a sense of realism and believability are these highlights that you see that I'm pointing to on the door itself. You have the chrome that's kind of lighting up, and if you go back and forth a little bit, you can actually see there's a reflection on the door. It's very subtle, but our eyes catch that, and it really adds to the effect here. Also, the reflection goes away and then comes back again as another highlight. So that's what really contributes to this simple little illustration that I animated. Now, let's talk about the compensation on this a little bit. As I said, it was a good job in Craigslist, and I do want to be transparent about this. I know it's a little bit of a no-no to talk about money, but I estimated this job at $4,500 because I thought it was going to take me like 25 hours or so. But here's what happened. It just dropped into place very quickly, so it only took me 10 hours to do, probably less. So I ended up making $450 an hour, or maybe somewhat more, which is great compensation, I think, by any measuring stick. So I was very, very pleased with that. I hope this is a good illustration, sorry about the pun, of the point that you actually can get good clients and good work on Craigslist. On the next video, I'm going to talk about how you can kick it up to an even higher level and find even more clients potentially using this source. If you have any comments about your experience working with Craigslist, leave them below. And as I always say, I hope to see you on the next one.